Today is the 5th date of July 2020. 5 months since the deadly hurricane that changed our lives forever. The memory of Hurricane Dorian remains in the minds of Abaconians for decades. The memories of this hurricane will be passed down to our kids, grandkids, great-grandkids. And there's so much survival story. But the worst thing coming of this hurricane was the F&M government under the leadership of the most honorable Prime Minister, gynecologist turned Prime Minister, Dr. Hubert Minnis. He has been a hurricane all in himself. And our members of Parliament for North and South Abaco, James Albury and Darren Henfield. The last time I saw Darren was in September in Abaco. And what I saw last night was very disturbing. That Darren would go fishing rather than coming and helping somebody to get back in some type of normalcy. That is why Kai Mills is the man to dethrone Darren Henfield in the next general election. And the question is, can Kai do better than Darren Henfield, who's a lieutenant, who's a lawyer, who's a preacher, and has no people skill? Darren has forgotten that this job of Member of Parliament is not for the people to serve him, but him to serve the most needy. The Prime Minister of this country's only job is service to the Bahamian people, not the Mexicans. Service to the Bahamian people and trying to make life better than before he came in office. The question is, if the election were to call this week, what will be the Member of Parliament for North Abaco that Kai Mills will beat in the next general election? What will be Darren's legacy 3 years in? What can he brag about accomplishing? Only legacy Darren will have if Darren would happen to go on the boat like he sent people from Nassau to Abaco. If he jump on the Legacy and have a ride to Abaco, that's the end of Darren's legacy. 11-hour boat ride on the Legacy, and Darren Henfield's legacy ends right there. Being the Member of Parliament, it would have been so fruitful as Darren Henfield would invite it and have an opportunity to put 300, 150, how many Mexicans he brought in there? If he would have given North Abaco and the Bahamas the same opportunity. Not only gave them the same opportunity, but gave them the same privilege, same thing. By bringing them on a flight, providing them with transportation to Baker's Bay, and the biggest thing is accommodation. We have people that works in Baker's Bay that lives all the way in Crown Haven. That's 120 miles a day. You think those people would like to have accommodation and food provided just like the Mexicans on Baker's Bay? Has the Member of Parliament, Darren Henfield, reached out to North Abaco first and give them an opportunity to get free housing, free food on Baker's Bay? Because housing is hard to find. Did that happen before the Mexicans? You have to fill the job market within your country first before you go outside the country. Don't worry about that on Uncle Tom, Dr. Livingston Marshall. That's brown-nosing all the other partners in Bakers Bay. All he is a house nigga. That's all he is. And that's all he's been for Bakers Bay. But he's been doing well by saying, yes, sir, boss. I gon' get it, boss. No problem, boss. Yes, sir, boss. That's Dr. Livingston Marshall. Don't worry about him. He is not the Member of Parliament at this time. Darren Henfield is the Member of Parliament and the minister responsible. He ought to have reached out to his people and asked them first, before you reach out to Mexico, can we fill the void in the Bahamas? The answer is yes, we can. If we're gonna send a jet, and you imagine sending Bahamas a jet to bring these people into the Bahamas, then to bring back to Abaco? When last has any company afforded the Bahamians that kind of service, that kind of ride? When? Kai Mills trying to be the North, or Kai will be the Member of Parliament for North Abaco, and what an awesome responsibility it would be after going through a hurricane and seeing that this government is prepared to do nothing for Abaco. We could write this government completely off the map. Only way they win again if Jesus the Christ himself anointed them to win. Other than that, they could never win. If they win 3 seats in this country, they've done well. I cannot see that any young person or older person that's going through so much have not heard or seen their Member of Parliament. Only they've seen him through my video on Sunny Bay trying to catch Porgy and Grunt. And there's the Porgy and the Grunt refuse to even nibble at Darren Handline. They look at that and say, Abaco don't deserve Darren Henfield type of representation. The Porgy and the Grunt refuse to commit suicide. They run from his line. So therefore, I don't think any other persons in their natural sense will go to the poll to support Darren Henfield. We know those ones that got their government job, but they are dead-end job. When last has anybody, I look at the firemen and all the other person working at the airport, underpaid and overworked. The guys from North Abaco say the first thing Darren did was to take the fire engine that got Treasure Key, North Abaco on it, and he sent it to Berry Island, Bimini. When they go down in Bimini, there's such a bad taste in their mouth. They ain't got much in North Abaco. But the first thing Darren Henfield did was to make sure that they didn't have a fire engine. He sent it to Bimini. That is the legacy of Darren Henfield. That's his only legacy. But going forward, to do better than Darren Henfield is doing, you don't have to do much. But for Kai Mills, it will be an awesome task, because right now, Kai still have passion. Sometimes you hear me get off. That's the passion that I have in my voice, because we are on the top of the Bahamas. The Abaco chain is on the top. So when the goodness flow, it should start from Abaco. Look at all the monies that Abaco has been putting in the treasury for 20 years, 2 decades, and we can't get one of those monies back. I drive people from Nassau and they said, wow, if you listen to the government in Nassau, you will think all is well in Abaco, but there's not any movement. I said, try to say it. That's why I'm here with a camera. Some of the stuff you can't even photo because you can't photo people living in a car and in tents on the foundation of their house for 10 months without any hope. The question is, what is priority if the electrical poles haven't been put up in just a quarter of Abaco? All of Abaco was not demolished, just a quarter of Abaco. If a government can't put them up in 10 months, when will we have electricity? The first month for the water and sewage, they should have capped off all the broken mains because they know all the house that were destroyed. Cap that off so you don't lose pressure. The next month should be restoring. This is 10 months, and the wise member of parliament from Long Island, he just cleaned the land up in Abaco to put the new water tank. He knew the tank was destroyed from September 1st. He just cleaned the ground 10 months in. If you just clean the ground 10 months in, when will the water tank be restored in Abaco? That's why I said it's an awesome task. It has to be a hands-on task to complete the rebuilding of Abaco. You can't have an MP that when he comes in, he's sneaking in the morning, sneak out in the evening, and go on the bay fishing. That will not help Abaco. The same opportunities that the Mexicans was afforded. Free housing. How many people, skillful, hard-working people from Nassau that would love to have some housing? They can come to Abaco, but they don't have no housing. Why haven't the job market been afforded for Bahamians first? Ain't no Mexicans gonna work no Bahamians. Don't throw all Bahamians under the bus for few. There's some Bahamians that will smoke those Mexicans. Burn them up with work. And I gotta put my faith in the Bahamians, because Mexicans didn't build this country. Bahamians built it, Dr. Marshall. Somebody now saw tap Dr. Marshall on his shoulder and asked him, is he prepared to go to Mexico to believe in Mexico, or is he still a Bahamian? July 10th coming up. I want to know which country is his independence. Ask Dr. Marshall. Since he gone all Mexican on us, I still believe in the Bahamas and the Bahamian workers. It's one of these cases. Bahamians ought to be in Abaco. Abaconians built Baker's Bay. Abaconians should be afforded the free housing, the free food to help to rebuild Baker's Bay. That is what Kai will do as the member of parliament for North Abaco. Ship all the Mexicans out. And all who want the Mexicans, ship them along with the Mexicans. But Bahamians will rebuild Abaco. Kai Care, you're live with Kai on WCAY.